Salutation, Epoch gamers. Big shit here. Today is a big day for the Big Mus Gaming channel as we're talking about a class known to the world as Paladin. Originally, Paladins were restricted only to the Alliance in vanilla World of Warcraft. Epoch changes this with the addition of Undead Paladin. Now, Horde gets access to this busted-ass class without having to have cringe-ass elves on their faction. But beyond this, you can expect your blessings to last longer, a new spell classification called Hands, as well as brand new racial seals to further increase the amount of LARPage taking place on the server. If you enjoy this type of Project Epoch coverage, as well as various other gaming gameplaying that the Big Mus channel is world renowned for, then be sure to drop a like and subscribe. It is greatly appreciated. This video is going to be an absolute doozy, so just make sure you listen up and let's get into it. So of course, the Horde. Paladins are not faction locked on Project Epoch, with the new Horde Paladin being undead. Complete with a full list of unique class quests similar to the Alliance counterpart, these undead Paladins fit seamlessly into the existing vanilla world. You may be wondering, doesn't the Holy Light hurt undead creature? This dynamic is explored in one of their quests. I did make a video on undead Paladins and Dwarf Shamans previously, and undead Paladins, they do have a lore precedent with Bartholomew from Light's Hope Chapel, and some people, I don't know, some people like the faction lock thing. I'm kind of 50-50. It's not that big of a deal, but it does favor Alliance pretty heavily, especially in PvE. Even PvP, like Blessing of Freedom's just busted. I would say vanilla is very tilted towards Paladins. They're just kind of superior to Shamans. And clearly Blizzard felt the same way since they added the option for Shamans and Paladins to the opposite faction in TBC, and Epoch has agreed with this take. So now you have non-faction restricted Paladins. Fine with me. Maybe controversial for some, but personally it doesn't bother me at all. Hands and blessings. One annoyance with the design of Burning Crusade Paladin is how their short duration blessings, such as Blessing of Freedom, strips your long duration blessings off the target. Why should you have to reapply Blessing of Kings just because you wanted to cleanse a root from your tank? No more. Here on Project Epoch, you'll find that Blessing of Freedom, Blessing of Protection, and Blessing of Sacrifice are now named Hand of Freedom, Hand of Protection, and Hand of Sacrifice. Hands are exclusive with each other, but you can have both a hand and a blessing on the target. No more knocking off Blessing of Kings with your freedom. True base and facts. That's stupid. Like, I'd be fine if they made these blessings last like a 1 hour. Nothing pisses me off more than having to organize Paladin buffs. Even with Pally Power, these Paladin players, man, they're the worst. I like, there's so many times in TBC I can just recall just sitting around, oh, buff Kings please, buff Might please, like, oh, I don't have Might, this guy doesn't have Might. Like, you just have to babysit these peons, even with their Pally Power. Like, make this shit last an hour. We don't want to mess around with buffing every 10 minutes. So next up, racial seals. With the addition of our racial knowledge, we thought it'd be fitting for the infamous faction-specific Seal of Blood and Seal of Vengeance to use our new system, so player can swap between them. You'll find that the Seal of Blood has been renamed to Seal of Penitence to fit their new home as the Undead Paladin racial seal. And dwarves have received a brand new seal named Seal of the Mountain. Choosing a different Paladin race as your racial knowledge will give you access to their unique seal. Wasn't Seal of Blood just objectively better in TBC than all the other Paladin seals? So won't most Paladins be going undead racials? Interesting. We'll see how it plays out. We'll have to learn about what the seals are, and we'll get into that later in the video once I access the spellbook section. So if you're interested in what the spells are, keep watching. And then, yeah, raid-wide effects. So all the auras, and they've just listed all the auras here. Every single aura the Paladins have is now raid-wide and not just party-wide, as well as further optimization and reworks. They'll be tuning stuff as they go, yada yada. We know Epoch. So spellbook, same as usual in the general tab. Holy, what's new in Holy? We got concentration aura. I'm pretty sure all of the auras are listed as updated because they're now raid-wide instead of party-wide. We have an update to Divine Illumination. Okay, and Divine Illumination has undergone a complete rework. As we drag in the TBC variant, as you see, it reduces the mana cost of all spells by 50%. But Project Epoch has updated it, so Divine Illumination, it doesn't give you the reduced mana cost of all spells. It now increases the casting speed of all Paladin spells by 50% for 15 seconds. It causes forbearance, preventing Divine Shield, Divine Protection, Hand of Protection for 60 seconds. So this is actual quite a large rework to the spell. It's way more powerful now. Like 50% cast speed for 15 seconds is huge, especially for certain raid mechanics. But now if you use this to boost up your healing and this will allow you to like make sure everyone doesn't die and get quick tank heals on if the tank's taking big spike damage, but you'll be left vulnerable because you will not be able to bubble a mechanic for 60 seconds after using this. So you have to make sure if you use this, you're not going to be noob maxing and flying into a mechanic that's going to kill you. Okay, and next up, Seal of Light. So on Epoch, fills the Paladin with Divine Light for 30 seconds, giving each melee attack a chance to heal the Paladin for 39. Only one seal can be active at a time. 39, which rank is this? Because on TBC, the level 60 variant of the spell is 94, which is quite a large difference. And that is the level 60 version, by the way. That's not like there's a rank 5 in TBC, which is even stronger. So this one's more equivalent, not even a rank. Yeah, they say rank 4. So that's way weaker, just like the auto attack heal. But let's read the active effect when you use Judgment. So unleashing this seal's energy will judge an enemy for 20 seconds. So far so good. The same on TBC I'm reading on the other monitor. Granting attacks and spells made against the judged enemy a chance of healing the attacker for 25. Why is this updated? If the attacker's full health, they receive 5% increased healing from this judgment until it successfully heals. That's a new effect. So in TBC, it's just granting melee attacks made against the judged enemy a chance of healing the attacker for 61. In Project Epoch, only 25, but if the attacker is at full health, they receive 5% increased healing from this judgment until it successfully heals. Your melee strikes will refresh the spell's duration. So if you're sitting there at full health and you proc and you unleash the seal, you get 5% increased effect until it finally heals. I don't know how this really, like, I don't know if I'm lagging, but this is a bit confusing. I think if we see it live in action, it'll make sense, but it's hard to know how it really behaves. Let me see if I can check the Discord. See if some Poindexter nerd has done all the work for me. Apparently, Seal of Light has an interesting mechanic where it generates stat for the Paladin who judged. Maybe there's talents that we'll discover in the future, but as of now, it seems like this is the only change I can see, as well as the generating thread. Well, I'll take a look at the talent tree. I've heard talk of there being splash healing on Paladins. I don't know if this applies to Seal of Light, but yeah. So next, that's all the updates for Holy spellbook, and then Protection. So everyone knows Avenger's Shield. It's a cool Paladin spell, but in TBC, Avenger's Shield has a disgusting mechanic where it has a cast time. See, a 1-second cast, and so even the Paladin, when you're tanking, you can be sitting there getting hit stun. So you can really only use this to pull. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of hard to use in combat, and some Paladins, I believe, don't even talent Avenger's Shield. But in Project Epoch, Avenger's Shield, as of checking the Discord, it has been changed to be a instant cast, and it actually has buff damage. So they've buffed the spell completely. Makes sense considering it's an end tier talent. But yeah, in Project Epoch, you have insta cast Avenger's Shield, which is a welcome change. And actually, maybe the damage isn't changed because... Is there a rank 2? Oh yeah, never mind. Sorry, the damage has not been buffed. It's actually been nerfed. In TBC, it does... The rank 2 does this much damage. So it's just tuned to vanilla levels. But yeah, the main change is instant cast. Next up, Devotion Aura, Fire Res Aura. You know the auras, we already know this. They're now raid wide. And I'm sure the number has been tuned down. To what degree, it's going to be slightly different for each one, but it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, what matters is now it's instead of being only your party gets the aura, the whole raid gets the aura. And then now we got other update include Hand of Sacrifice, Hand of Protection. Just to make sure, I'll check. So I believe the change here is target party members protected. Yeah, so the change here is that hands are like blessing has been reworked from blessing to a hand. So in TBC, let's say I need to Blessing of Freedom my tank, right? My tank's rooted, I need to give him freedom. That will delete my Paladin Blessing. So if I have him buffed with Kings, and then I Blessing of Freedom him, I have to reapply Kings after. But now that they've been reclassified to hands, Hand of Protection, it won't delete the stat buff. So you won't have to reapply Wisdom, Might, or whatever after using Hand of Protection, Hand of Sacrifice, or Hand of Freedom, which is a huge change, and it's also very nice for PvP as well, because Blessing of Freedom is one of the most OP support spells. Like, I know shamans can purge it, priests can purge it, but even despite that, like in your warrior, getting a nice juicy freedom is just it's just juicy. I don't know how to describe it. And then you'll be able to have Kings on or Might on top of having the freedom. Like, it won't delete the damage buff for you, because Kings is huge on warriors. So when you have a Kings and you're charging in, and someone freedoms you, you'll still have the 10% stats in PvP. So it's a bigger change than you think. And then we got Retribution. We've got an updated Avenging Wrath. What could be updated? Increase all damage caused by 30% for 20 seconds. Causes forbearance. And it causes forbearance here. So what's the update? Maybe sometimes their website's a little bit irritating because there's some backported spells that say updated, but some of them don't. You know what I mean? Like some of the spells from TBC are listed and there's no updated text, but sometimes they'll have updated over it when it's just a backport and there's not really any changes. So it makes it rather difficult to figure out entirely what is going on. But I'll just take a look, because yeah, otherwise it's exactly the same spell. I believe it's just being backported from TBC. And we could be wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure I'm correct. And then moving on, Crusader Aura. That's a raid-wide aura. Take a look at Crusader Strike. I believe Crusader Strike is scaling different in Alright, so I've pulled up this since it's more accurate. So we have the TBC talent calculator over, and Crusader Strike in TBC, instant strike that causes 110% weapon damage and refreshes all judgments on the target. Project Epoch, it's only 75% weapon damage, but it deals holy damage. So with this in mind and reading the Discord, I am led to believe that Crusader Strike is scaling with spell power. So weapon damage plus spell power. So it seems like Ret Shockaden might be a shout. Just keep that in mind, Paladin players. Ret Shockaden might be an absolute shout. And next up, we got Hammer of Wrath. Hammer of Wrath has been updated. So in TBC, the rank 1 variant, which is they're using the rank 1, it has just been slightly nerfed, and I think it looks like there's no cast time, because in vanilla and TBC you have a 0.5 second cast, deals 304 to 337. Epoch, it just has a flat 342, and it's like an execute spell for paladins. But I'll just double check the Discord. Hammer of Wrath. Thank God for this Discord. Okay, and one of the changes of Hammer of Wrath is it no longer gimps your swing timer. So yeah, in vanilla and TBC, casting Hammer of Wrath would put a pause on your swing timer. So you have a 4-second weapon, you start casting Hammer of Wrath, kapow, you smack them with it. You still have to wait 4 seconds after Hammer of Wrath cast to auto attack. But now with Project Epoch, you're only waiting 3.5 seconds because casting spells in some scenarios does not affect the swing timer. It's even like that for Slam Warriors, if you remember the Warrior video. And I believe with that certain talent, Lightning Bolt doesn't affect the swing timer on two-hand enhanced. So yeah, you'll be able to cast this without worrying about wasting your auto attack. Then Ret Aura, yeah, auras. We know the auras. And then custom Seal of Dedication. This is a completely new spell, I believe. Fills the paladin with strength of will for 30 seconds, causing your attacks to deal 50% weapon damage as holy damage to an additional target. So that's like this is an AoE seal. Causing your attacks to deal 50% weapon damage as holy damage to an additional target. So paladins, this is actually a big change. This is one of the weaknesses of Ret. Obviously, you have concentration as like your AoE damage, but it's mana intensive, and on 2 targets, like it's worth using, I believe. I've never really played Ret Paladin, so correct me if I'm wrong. But now you have a seal that allows you to deal 2 target DPS. So you'll be hitting the target next to the boss, or let's say like there's a melee ad on the boss that you have to brump down quick. So you tap target, you put Seal of Dedication on, you smack them. You're still going to be dealing 50% of that smack to the mob. That 50% extra holy damage is going to be hitting the boss, so you'll be doing cleave damage. It'll help you out in cleave fights. And then unleashing the seal with Judgment will release a wave of light in front of you, dealing 193 holy damage to all targets hit. 35% of the damage dealt by this wave will also damage you over 6 seconds. So this will actually hurt the paladin, which is kind of an interesting mechanic. Paladins, other than Seal of Blood, paladins don't really have that much health mechanics utilizing their health pool, so this is new. And it's definitely interesting. Like, I don't know, it's funny. So what happens if you hit like 60 mobs? 35% of the damage to 60 mobs hit will damage you? Will you just kill yourself? How does that work? I don't know. We'll have to see how this works, but overall it's still looking like a strong option for cleave and AoE. And then they've updated Seal of the Crusader. So I've pulled up the rank 6 Seal of Crusader. Fills the paladin with the Spirit of the Crusader, granting 371 melee attack power, up from 352 in TBC. The paladin also attacks 40% faster, but deals less damage with each attack. So far so good, it's the same. But I heard they have removed seal twisting. I'm not sure if that's true, but I don't see anything wrong with seal twisting, to be honest. I kind of like it, but so it looks like I just can't see. I don't see how twisting is removed. I'm just trying to like, I heard people talking about twisting being removed, but I'm reading like even reading this myself, I was like, well, wouldn't you still apply Seal of the Crusader and then swap? Like even if I wanted to use Seal of Dedication Cleave, wouldn't I put Crusader on the boss with a Judgment? Then I would swap to Seal of Dedication or whatever other seal I happen to be using for holy damage procs, because this increases your holy damage taken by up to 161, so that would buff all of your damage. Like even your Crusader Strike now deals holy damage, so you would still be putting Crusader on, and then you'd be blumping the boss with like big attacks, you know, with your holy damage. So I can't, like, you're still gonna be seal twisting, and I think seal twisting's fine. I'm sorry, but not every class has to. Oh, I use my 1, 2, 3 button rotation, and then I use my cooldowns. Not every class has to play the same. I know people were saying they don't like totem twisting, but totem twisting is cool. It's a completely unique gameplay style only Enhancement Shaman really has. I mean, Restos can sometimes twist too, but Enhanced Shaman is more of like you're auto attacking, maybe you hit him with a couple instants, but you're really watching that 8-second timer. Okay, I gotta put the totem down, swap, swap, swap. You know, I like that. Not every class has to play like a fucking warrior or rogue, which is why I can't stand what they did to all the classes in Legion. They basically, like even Red Paladin in Legion, it literally plays like a rogue. You have combo points. It's just stupid. And seal twisting is way cooler. I think keeping up like, okay, Seal the Crusader, Judgment. Okay, now I swapped the next seal in my auto attacks. Like not every class has to be some crazy 5-button rotation with combo points. Some classes can play on like timer based systems or various systems, and it's fine. Like if you don't like that, then play a goddamn rogue. I'm sorry, like not every class has to have the exact same play style, and I really don't have a problem with seal twisting or totem twisting for that matter. And yeah, so it seems like seal twisting still a thing. So moving on, we've got racial knowledge. We've got Seal of Penitence, which I believe is Seal of Blood. All melee attacks deal additional holy damage equal to 35% of normal weapon damage, but the paladin loses health equal to 10% of the total damage inflicted. So on Prince Melk, don't use this. Just kidding, there's no Prince Melk in Eastpoch, but yeah. Unleashing the Seal's energy will judge an enemy, instantly causing 270 holy damage at the cost of health equal to 33%. So this is the Seal of Blood, I believe. Then we've got Seal of the Mountain. Fills the paladin with the might of the Thanes for 30 seconds, giving your attacks a chance to, based on weapon speed, to gain 109 armor and increase the damage of Hammer of Wrath by 3% for 10 seconds. This effect stacks up to 5 times. That's kind of cool. So it's like a tank armor. Even in PvP, I feel like this would be pretty decent because, one, like, I mean, you already have armor, but like Prop Pally is going to be an absolute monster against physical classes, even more so than it already is. And then you'll get that stacking Hammer of Wrath up to 5 times, so 15%. You'll be absolutely decimating someone once they're at 20% health. And Unleashing the Seal's energy causes so it's an AoE. All nearby targets to take 48 holy damage per stack and increases the duration of Mountain's Might. Mountain's Might? What the hell is Mountain's Might? Is that the buff that Seal of the Mountain gives? I believe it is. So that's an AoE Judgment active. So this will be very nice for, like, I can just picture the Prop Paladin's gonna love this. This is kind of a Prop Paladin specialty right here. So finally, Seal of Vengeance. Fills the Paladin with holy power, granting each melee attack a chance to cause 100 holy damage over 15 seconds. This can stack up to 5 times. So it's like a holy dot. And then unleashing it will instantly cause 70 holy damage per application of Holy Vengeance. Cool. So this is the dot with a big Biden blast at the end once you've stacked up to 5 times. This is the tank with the AoE blast, and this is the kill yourself on Prince Melk ability. Moving on, talents. There's gonna be big changes here. I can feel it. Holy Paladin has had a lot of changes. This is gonna take a while, I think. So you guys are gonna have to strap the heck in to this absolute enormous. I'm gonna need some more coffee, man. Like, fuck, look at this. They have a novel here. Oh, okay, but we'll get started either way. So as we can see, the first talent we have displayed is Illumination. So 100% chance to gain mana equal to 60% of the base cost of the spell after getting a critical effect from your holy heals or whatever. In Project Epoch, it's a similar talent, but it's been buffed up to 75% of the base cost spell compared to only 60% in TBC. Then next up, this is a completely new talent to Project Epoch, as we see nothing here on TBC, but over on Project Epoch we've got a talent called Overwhelming Light. And what Overwhelming Light does is that it When your Holy Light, Flash of Light, or Holy Shock spell heals the target to full health, 3 nearby injured allies will be healed by an amount equal. So that's an AoE talent. So when your Holy Light, so when you basically when you heal a target, oh, it has to be 2 full health. 3 nearby injured allies will be healed by an amount equal to 20% of the healing effect. So this will dude, this is actually huge for. I'm a melee player, so I can just picture like, you know, your bomb and flash heals or holy lights on the tank as a paladin, right? Because you're usually resigned to being a tank healer. But now over healing the tank isn't a waste because it'll pulsate. I like saying the word pulsate. It'll pulsate, even though I know pulse is technically correct. I'm still saying pulsate or pulsation. It will pulsate to the melee. So since it's nearby, so my stupid ass warrior that's getting cleaved by the boss because I'm just brumping, like I'm not fuck mechanics, I'm brumping, I'll be getting pulsations from overwhelming light, and on top of that, the holy priest noob will have the light well right beside me, so I'll also be juicing up with the light well, and I'll be going beast mode. I like this. Next up, sanctified light. Which one's that? This one. Increase the critical effect chance of your holy light, seal of light, and judgment of light spells by 6% and reduce the threat of judgment of light by 100%. What? So they're completely different talents here. And in TBZ, it literally just increases the critical effect chance of your holy light spell. But yeah, and it looks like in Project Epoch, they're wanting you to, they're wanting you as a holy paladin to go in with seal of light, and just like start bashing the boss with seal of light, judgment of light him, while simultaneously throwing out big holy light bombs. So that's kind of cool. I mean, this will also help out with Shockedin, I think. Do Shockedins? Yeah, of course Shockedins go holy because they want holy shock. So this is like some support for Shockedin, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong. Paladin players, correct me in the comments. Comment down below if I'm wrong. Updated purifying power. There's an additional effect in Project Epoch compared to TBC. So in TBC, reduce the mana cost of your cleanse, purify, and consecration spells by 10%. Increase the critical strike chance of exorcism and holy wrath. It's the exact same in Project Epoch, except for the fact that there's an additional clause on the talent. And let's see if you guys can see it over here. Oh fuck, sorry. So additionally, hitting an enemy with exorcism or holy wrath will increase the critical effect chance of your next healing spell by 60%. So yeah, they really want you in there on Paladin. Like, you're gonna be in there just using spells. I don't know what to say, because that's a pretty big effect. So yeah, nice, just a nice little tweak. Extra crit chance after using exorcism or holy wrath. So can't complain about that. Next up, Blessed Life. In Holy, we got all attacks against you have a 10% chance to cause half damage. In Project Epoch, it's all attacks against you have a 10% chance to cause half damage, and your resistances are increased by 12. So just extra tankiness to an already overly tanky class. So, but hey, it is what it is. Paladin players, you know what I'm saying? Okay, sorry, I'm not thinking about the build here. I'm just like going down so you guys can see it. So don't take anything I'm doing on the screen with like where I'm putting the talent points as some type of guide. I'm just doing it so you guys can see what the talent is. So finally, we've got a change to Divine Illumination. So increase on Project Epoch, increase the cast speed of all paladin spells by 50% for 15 seconds. Oh yeah, so we talked about this already. This is the change they made, or that we discussed in the spellbook section of this video. In TBC, it's reduced the mana cost of all spells by 50% for 15. In this, it's holy shit, I'm gonna heal really fast. There you guys go. That's the change. Next up, the protection tree. We'll click a fat reset on this, and then we'll double check to make sure everything's lined up. Yeah, okay, yeah. Well, first of all, it's been moved. In Project Epoch, it's up on the third row. It swapped places with Anticipation. So in the third row, you got improved Conch Aura. So yeah, the change here, there's no change to the actual talent. It's still the same talent. It's just been flipped around with Anticipation for your Holy Paladin convenience and enjoyment. So finally, actually Prot doesn't have that many changes. There's just 2 more here. It's Ardent Defender. So in TBC, when you have less than 35% health, all damage taken is reduced by 30%. Now let's see what it does on Epoch. When you have less than 35% health, or when an attack brings you under 35% health, all damage taken is reduced by 30%. So they've just added that extra clause. So I guess so. Let's say hypothetically you're at 40% health and you're gonna get one shot or something. You would get the 30% damage reduction. But in if I understand the way this works correctly in TBC, let's say I'm at 40% health, my Ardent Defender isn't activated, and I take a strike that deals 40% of my health that would kill me, or let's just say it puts me at 1%. I would not get that 30% damage reduction. Once I'm at 1%, then it kicks in on the next damage I take. But in Project Epoch at 40%, if I'm getting knocked by a hit that takes me below 35%, then I will get the damage reduction on it. So this could save you as a tank. This is very easily able to save you. Like there's lots of mechanics or even an auto attack that would deal 40% of your health. So this is a very nice change. Maybe there's things you will live now as a prop paladin that you would not live before. Moving down, we'll get some combat expertise. Oh yeah, shit, we need this. Oopsies. Avenger's Shield. The only difference is the spell is now an instant cast. The spell is now an instant and has no cast time. So once again, we talked about this in the spellbook section. Avenger's Shield is now instant. You don't have to sit there for a second or half a second casting that stupid shield bomb. Moving on. Finally, we're on to the Retribution tree. Seal of Command has been updated. So if we take a look at Seal of Command, we'll make our way down the tree. So it's exactly the same, but on Project Epoch, there is a unique clause with it where Seal of Command now persists for 0.5 seconds when swapping to any other seal. So this, where did I read that people, like they're saying they're getting rid of seal twisting? Does that not just sound like they're doubling down on the sweet seal twisting gameplay? So now when you, like let's say you have Seal of Command on, you want to swap to Seal of Crusader, you swap to Seal of Crusader, but you still get 0.5 seconds of Seal of Command. Like it stays a little bit longer to smooth out your gaming, if that makes sense. So yeah, it seems to me that, am I like interpreting this wrong? This seems like a double down on seal twisting, which is I'm a fan of. I like seal. I think it's cool gameplay. And then moving on, Sanctity Aura. What is different? Oh, and Raid. Okay, so the only difference in Sanctity Aura, I'm not gonna even bother going to it. Sanctity Aura now is and Raid, party and Raid, where before it was party only, which we already know about. And then finally, Crusader Strike, and we also have talked about this. So Crusader Strike now scales with weapon damage at 75% as well as spell power at 40%. There's a lot of support for Shockedin. I'm wondering what the best ret build now, because like, do you even really want attack power? Like, I get you want strength, but it seems like you're gonna want a really big top end weapon, obviously to scale your Crusader Strike. But you're going to want spell power on all your gear, because all your DPS comes from spells. Like your auto attacks, whatever, half the time your auto attacks are dealing holy damage that is going to scale with spell power anyways. So it's really seeming like spell power gear on ret is going to be a shout, especially with it dealing holy damage and scaling with holy. Whereas in TBC, Crusader Strike just did 110% weapon damage. There was no spell power component to it. So I don't know, like, yeah, they're going to be wanting to target spell power now. I like that 40% spell power scaling. I wish more stuff had spell power scaling. Like, even, like, Thunderclap for Warriors, give me spell power scaling on that. It's epic. But yeah, that covers the Paladin changes. Big changes afoot. Really smoothed out the ret gameplay. It's looking like they're more slanted towards seal twisting, spell damage, Shockedin, rather than just being, like, strength, attack power, crit, auto attack. You know what I mean? So I'm a fan. I like the changes, and we'll have to see how they play out. Thanks for watching. Peace.